Hey, you all, Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from the South, more specifically, Savannah, Georgia, and even more specifically than that, we're in front of the Prohibition Museum, the American Prohibition Museum, celebrating, well, maybe not celebrating, but chronicling the point in American history where alcohol was illegal. Ironically enough, the Prohibition Museum right smack dab in the drinking district here in Savannah, Georgia, surrounded by these outdoor barges, outdoor bars as people guzzle alcohol, drink their beers in the shadow of the American Prohibition Museum. So please, follow me.
Feel free to go through, take pictures, ask questions. Only requests are not to touch the artifacts or wax figures. And in light of COVID, just masks on over the nose at all times.
See the woman up there setting out her laundry. This is actually really cool right here. Kind of an old style warning poster. Just keep your nose unexposed. Stop the spread of COVID. So something that they would have had back then to fight COVID. This paperboy here. It's a sign: liquor bashing crusader Billy Sunday tonight. Hear the popular evangelist bring his wrath down on King Alcohol. You can see the man driving his beer truck here, being stopped by these protesters, these anti-alcohol protesters. The wax figures back there, looking in the saloon door, incorporating these modern signs. Very clever. Halt the epidemic. Use the floor markers to maintain social distancing. Here's the tent revival Billy Sunday, the evangelist preaching against the evils of alcohol. So we go up the stairs. You see, first you take a drink, then the drink takes a drink, then the drink takes you. Temptation is the devil looking through a keyhole. It says in 1908, Georgia became the 8th state in the Union to go dry prior to national prohibition. So Georgia actually became a dry state before prohibition. That's interesting. So we see these cops breaking into a wall, taking out these barrels of booze. This man is chopping the barrel of booze with an axe to destroy it, but it is spewing out forth into the streets where these children are scooping up booze, and I guess they'll probably be drinking it, or maybe they'll just be selling it to people 21 and over. This little girl carrying a booze bucket. Here we have the Grim Reaper shaking hands with a bottle of whiskey, saying, "Mr. Bottle, you are my strongest ally." Here outside the Black Rabbit Tavern, we have a police officer guarding the door, very serious looking. And then some more warning signs for COVID. I'm sorry, I'm fascinated by these. I think these are really clever. Prevent disease, careless spitting, coughing, and sneezing, spread COVID-19. We wear masks to protect you, save lives. Here we have these two drunkards out on the street. See him guzzling that little bottle of liquor. His buddy here reaching out, "Hey, let me have a chug of that liquor." You hear him say, they're sharing that one little bottle. This room talks about some of the groups that opposed liquor: the Anti-Saloon League, American Temperance, the Washingtonians, World League Against Alcoholism, Women's Christian Temperance Union, the Scientific Temperance Federation. Looks like Maine passed a prohibition on selling alcohol way back in 1851. Here's Wayne Wheeler. He's the man responsible for creating and promoting the prohibition movement. What a fun guy. I see a little kid saying "Vote Dry." It said that they'd actually have little kids protesting prohibition, saying that the sugar used to make alcohol should be used to make candy for kids instead. Here's some literature and handouts used by members of the Prohibition Party. Drink and the Downfall of Nations. It says the Dries argued that barley used in beer should instead be used for bread to feed World War I soldiers. I think some of those soldiers may have preferred the beer instead. So enter this area. This was a bar. You can see it has been completely smashed to pieces. It would have been smashed to pieces by this woman right here, Carrie Nation, who was an infamous member of the temperance movement, who would literally go into bars with an axe and smash them as a way to stop alcohol from being sold. You can see the cash register has been ravaged, the bar smashed to bits. You can see that Carrie Nation actually became a very popular figure in the temperance movement. You can see these little souvenir axes with her name put on them, little lapel pins of hatchets to show your support of smashing bars and making liquor illegal. Over here we have a taxidermied buffalo face. And we can see now in here the law has been passed. The saloon has been boarded up, closed for violation of the National Prohibition Act. And look at that knocker, it looks like Satan. Here we have a car full of very, very happy women. They're all celebrating the passing of the 18th Amendment. The making, selling, and transport of liquors in or out of the United States is now prohibited. They're all saying hooray, we have outlawed alcohol. This is definitely going to last forever. And waving and celebrating. Drunkenness forever defeated. You can see here they're holding a funeral for John Barleycorn. Here we see John Barleycorn's casket. Apparently John Barleycorn, a fictional character representing alcohol and drunkenness. But sadly there is a downside to outlawing alcohol. So we see these poor alcohol makers, these poor liquor distillers are now sadly out of work. Liquor bottlers have done their part, now do yours. This just in, liquor production halted to make way for manufacture of alcohol-based hand sanitizer. And that's true, a lot of the liquor companies did manufacture hand sanitizer when there was a shortage due to COVID. Here are some attempts of liquor companies to make other products. We had Coors malted milk. That's interesting. And Bud brand frozen egg product. Oh, I guess Budweiser started making frozen egg substance, and that didn't seem to go over as well as beer. Prohibition sends stills to the hills during the moonshine making section. Here we have one of the most infamous moonshiners, Marvin Popcorn Sutton.
They had to make moonshine to make ends meet. This is the way of life. This is just a family heritage and a tradition.
Virtual moonshiner.
Then Prohibition started.
Here.
Prohibition says
see his moonshine still here in the shadows.
All the city saloons closed.
Those jars of moonshine down there.
You cannot buy, drink, sell alcohol nowhere. Well, guess what? That was great for the moonshiners. That business is booming here.
What? Oh. What? In here? Some sort of making. Oh, what? Come closer. Oh, a little drinky. Down there. Okay. So I guess she's sending us little subtle hints to come into the old boar and get ourselves a drink. Now she's kind of staring awkwardly, just looking around. What? Oh, come back in. Drinky drink. It's talking about loopholes that people use to get around the bars being illegal. They said they would sell tickets to see a blind pig. So someone would come into the house, see the blind pig, and then be giving liquor complimentary. Who wouldn't want to see a blind pig? And I guess blind pigs are probably more interesting when you've had a drink. Talks about how people would actually make liquor at home. Little stovetop moonshine still. Right there, she manufactures some homemade liquor and then transports it here in the baby carriage. Talks here about how doctors could actually write prescription for alcohol. So these are medicinal liquors, Badger brand, hops. That's interesting. What would you get a prescription for whiskey for? Like, doctor, my family's super annoying and I hate my job. Write me a prescription for whiskey. This case here has some ways that people snuck alcohol. You see that book there actually has a nozzle on it. Could pour some liquor out of. There's a pretzel with a cork in it, so you could pretend like you're eating a pretzel when you're really chugging liquor. There's a camera here that has, you take out the insides, it has 4 test tubes full of liquor inside. There's a looks like a roast chicken that secretly dispenses alcohol. Very creative. Now enter the crime room, where we see how Prohibition actually contributed to organized crime. There are the tools of the gangster trade, the infamous Tommy gun, some pistols, brass knucks, and a telephone. Here's actually some fake guns used in prison breaks. You see it's carved out of wood. Got a shotgun, a fake shotgun carved out of wood. Fake Tommy gun carved out of wood. I don't know. Would you have fallen for that? I guess maybe from a distance. Someone has like their arms around it. It may look a lot more real. Looks kind of phony right there. It seems like, I don't know if I would fall for that if I was a prison guard, but it's always scary to have a gun pointed in your direction. Also, it looks like maybe a bomb. It's just a alarm clock with a fake stick of dynamite wrapped to it. Here's one of the most creepy pictures I've ever seen in a museum. The KKK Ferris wheel. You can see it in the Ferris wheel being rode only by Klan members. Freaking terrifying. We have a chip of brick, actually from the site of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. You can see the poker chips, and dice, and money. And look at that, we have an authentic 1928 $1,000 bill. I've never seen a thousand. Do they still make $1,000 bills? Do we have modern $1,000 bills? Surely we do. I've never owned one. Maybe I'll go to the bank next time I get $1,000 and say, I just want $1,000 bill, and then go to the gas station and buy a candy bar with it. Here we see an infamous lineup of criminals. Bugs Moran there, and Al Capone, infamous gangster from Chicago, and Machine Gun Jack McGurn. Bet he liked using machine guns. You can see this old-timey car here where things have gone very bad, as you see some machine gun bullets along the side. The driver has been shot so severely that his eyeball's hanging out, and this couple living the gangster lifestyle has unfortunately been shot to death. You see gangsta style right here, which is of course striped suits and fur coats and cool hats. You see a real rum running skiff boat used in 1925. Up there's a 400-gallon moonshine still found in Virginia. All right, here we can learn how to dance the Charleston from this diagram right here. We have a mirror so we can watch ourselves, but let's see, It's like do. Looks like we gotta swing our heels out. Let me see if we can. There we go. That's the Charleston, I assume. This talks about the flapper style and culture that came out of Prohibition. Here's the flapper wardrobe right here. Some of the makeup and whatnot. What really sticks out to me is the creepy little monkey thing right there. Does that have makeup inside? Why is it a monkey? That is a flapper bathing suit. Very comfortable and appropriate beach wear. You look here through the little viewing glass. There's a little button to ring. And right here in the middle of the American Prohibition Museum we have a full bar. Oh, and apparently this was one-way glass, so everyone in the bar could see me doing the Charleston. Very nice. There's a light they could turn on if there was a raid in progress, if the cops were showing up. Just flip on the raid light. And as guests sip some alcohol, you can read about how Prohibition was repealed and everyone celebrated with giant beers. And here, this garage area talks about how moonshiners actually created NASCAR. So we can see here the moonshine runners would actually modify their cars to make them super fast and able to outrun the police. And then eventually they would start racing each other to see who could make the fastest car. And this gave birth to NASCAR. Here in the gift shop, you can stock up on gangster items. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. There were some gangster hats, some Tommy guns, some cigars, and some clothing. Dress up as a flapper girl. Ooh, there's a garter flask. Ooh, and all boas are 50% off. Here in the gift shop, they have a section dedicated to an iconic statue here in Savannah, the Bird Girl statue made famous for being the cover artwork of the book Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. And there's the DVD of the movie version starring, you know, that guy. So thank you for joining me here at the American Prohibition Museum, a great attraction here in the city of Savannah, Georgia. Love seeing the great wax figures too. I love seeing wax figures used in a modern museum. This museum has not been around forever. It's not a decades-old attraction. It's, you know, been here. I don't know. I forget exactly when it was started, but in the last decade it has been placed here. But a great attraction, fun attraction here in Savannah, Georgia. If you'd like to see other places I've been, please check the interactive map in the description of this video. If you'd like to help support the channel, consider donating to Patreon. $3 or more will get you a postcard once a month. Also selling enamel pins in the Etsy shop. All that information is in the description of this video. Until next time, this one's in the bag.